Hi there and welcome to Dork Wars. My name's Blake and I'm here with Grant.
Hey, how's it going?
Here with Wesley.
What's up, dorks?
And I'm here remotely with Andrew.
Howdy.
So the reason that our buddy Andrew is remote tonight is because COVID-19 has struck our cast. Our co-host Dietrich is not going to be on the call tonight due to some difficulties. However, Andrew is with us remotely. He couldn't be with us in studio. So first episode and we're going to drop back and punt already. So to get things started, we're going to actually introduce ourselves. I think I introduced myself pretty well in the trailer. So I might give a short synopsis of myself. But first, let's start with Grant. Grant, let's just talk about your connection to Star Wars, kind of how you got into it, what you like, your dislikes. He's not single, ladies, so don't pick up on that. But Grant,
man.
Here you go, bud.
All right. Hi, everyone. I'm Grant. So my connection to Star Wars is quite interesting. For those that don't know, which none of you will, Blake is actually my cousin, and we grew up around each other and stuff. And so, of course, him loving Star Wars growing up really afflicted me, along with my uncle and a couple other family members as well. But our big thing growing up was having those big toy lightsabers from like Walmart and just fighting with them like you were an actual Jedi or Sith out in fighting some far-off galaxy. That was a real fun thing. That was my big connection to it and what really got me interested in it. And as I got older, I began reading some of the now expanded universe books. Specifically, the Thrawn trilogy is fantastic. I love it, and I will certainly talk a lot about Thrawn coming up. But that's basically my connection to Star Wars. Love the movies, love the shows, and the books, fantastic.
Awesome. So Grant's connection to Star Wars began with a lightsaber to the face from me. Wesley.
Hey, yeah, what's up? My name's Wesley, and my mom, she raised me well because instead of raising me on Disney movies, as a kid, she put on Empire Strikes Back on repeat for me. And so, that was fun just to watch that over and over growing up and seeing Han Solo get carbon frozen repeatedly. Kind of traumatizing, but it builds character. So yeah, her favorite character was Chewie, and I tried to impersonate a lot of that. But yeah, and so that's something that's where I got my Star Wars lore from, and it just grown from there.
Sweet. So Chewbacca sucks, man. No, I'm just
That
kidding.
walking carpet.
No, much love for Chewie. So Andrew, all the way from Durham, right? You're in Durham, right?
No, I'm in Raleigh, man.
Oh gosh, me and Andrew are supposedly friends, and I don't even know where he's from.
We're remote right now, so we can be anywhere.
So remotely. All right. So Andrew, your connection to Star Wars, where it all started, what your likes, your dislikes, and guys, I don't think he's available either. So keep it going.
Well, for me, I got really lucky. Both of my parents loved Star Wars, so I was watching it at a very young age. At 5 or 6, I was walking around with a Darth Vader helmet, singing, the theme song from when he comes in on the first ever Star Wars movie. It's, I don't know. That's how I started off with it, and ever since, I just absolutely loved the idea of just, being in space, of all the technology that they had. Crazy lightsabers and insanely inaccurate laser guns. It's always something that I've just really enjoyed.
Yes, the sheer awesomeness of the technology of Star Wars is could get anybody wrapped up in a galaxy far, far away. So briefly, I'm Blake. I think it was actually my idea to start this podcast. Man, I've loved Star Wars since I was a kid. My dad was always a big fan. I saw the original trilogy on VHS in the late 90s and grew up with the prequels when they came out in the theaters. Got to see those as they came out. And then I watched the sequel trilogy and all that. As a kid, I really liked the expanded universe books. I probably read everything after the original trilogy in that book series. And for those who don't know, the expanded universe is the pre-Disney canon of kind of what happened in between the movies, before the movies, and even after. I mean, there's, gosh, probably hundreds of books, literally probably hundreds of books detailing that canon.
Just wasted.
yeah, and now it's all gone, folks. It's all gone. But I spent a lot of time reading those books, and I love the expanded universe. There's just so much in it, and there's something that Disney or anyone, they probably are not going to be able to capture in film and in books. Just the expansiveness of that canon it'll take a very long time. And I mean, we might be surprised. Who knows? So
real quick, imagine being like our parents and you buy all those original books and you read through all of them. You know every detail about Star Wars, and then just for it to become legends, and you're like, wow, all this knowledge and money wasted. Just gone.
But they're still great to read. I'm actually reading through the original Thrawn trilogy myself right now. I think Grant mentioned he's reading through the
new trilogy.
The new
now,
trilogy,
yeah.
Which I have yet to talk about or read. So, yeah, I just love Star Wars. I love everything in between the movies, in the movies, after the movies. I love the new Star Wars canon as well. The new Disney stuff's great. Sequel trilogy, love it, hate it. It's here or there for me. And we will definitely get into my thoughts and feelings on that and everybody's. This is going to be an expansive podcast. I'm going to cover a lot of different things. But man, I just love Star Wars, and I love talking about Star Wars, and I'd like to share that with you guys out there, hopefully our Dork Wars fans. So, with the introductions out of the way, we're going to get into our episode. We're going to discuss the season finale of Season 2 and its future impact on the Star Wars universe. So, just a quick synopsis, just to refresh everyone's memory. The episode opens with Mando and Co. kidnapping Dr. Pershing from the Imperial Lambda-class shuttle. Get in there, beat the crap out of his guards, take him and the ship. Mando seeks the help of Bo-Katan and her friend, the other Mandalorian lady. And surprisingly, the third guy's missing. Don't know what happened to him. Maybe we'll have a question about that later. So Mando's talking to Bo-Katan. She's not originally in, but she really wants that dark saber. So once it comes up that they know where Gideon's at, she's all in. There's also a pretty cool Boba Fett Mando fight because he's supposedly not a real Mandalorian. And so we get a cool little bar fight scene in there. That was pretty neat. So then Mando and Co. go off to find Moff Gideon's light cruiser. With the stolen Lambda-class shuttle, they run this really cool ruse where they're chased by the Slave One. Looks like they're going to get hit, so they just bash right into the light cruiser with the shuttle, into the hangar bay, and start beating the crap out of everyone. So at this point, Bo-Katan and her crew, as well as Fennec, Boba Fett's associate, and also... what's the girl's name from Alderaan? Cara.
Oh yeah,
Cara Dune.
The buff girl.
Cara Dune. That's right. I always have trouble with her name. Do not think I'm not a real Star Wars fan because I didn't know her name.
Oh yeah, no.
Politically incorrect.
She's tough. I wouldn't want to fight
She is. I wouldn't want to either.
Makes me want to see more about the shock troopers.
Right? She was tough. So, Cara, Fennec, and the ladies of this episode just go off and start kicking butt. And then Mando goes off by himself. He's looking for Grogu, of course. We all know that is the whole point of this episode, to find Grogu. I think the episode is actually called The Rescue. So, looking for Grogu. He goes off and finds the Dark Troopers. These cats are tough. These robots are tough.
Those were some badass robots.
Dude, like, he couldn't even defend against them. He had trouble with one, so he's fighting and doing his best, and finally he's able to beat the one Dark Trooper and sucks the rest of them out of an airlock. We'll have more on that later. I don't know why you would keep your highly trained Dark Trooper robot units in an airlock, but
We're gonna have to go back and discuss all the minor loopholes.
discuss. Right? Why would they do that? Yeah. So gets rid of the Dark Troopers, finds Gideon and Grogu in the little cell that Grogu's in, and then Mando decides he's going to fight. Gideon tries to trick Mando. Mando's like, I'm not having any of that. They start fighting. Very good battle scene. Oh man, just watching that was awesome. It was beautifully choreographed. They fight. Mando wins the Darksaber. That's going to be big. Mando wins the Darksaber. So he takes Gideon to the bridge from there. Gideon taunts Bo-Katan about not having the Darksaber, as Mando has won the Darksaber, and it is apparently a weapon that has to be won from someone. So Bo-Katan is not allowed to have it unless she beats Mando. And this just didn't seem like the time or place to do that, so they're not going to do that quite yet. And the Dark Troopers show back up out of nowhere after being sucked out of the airlock, and they proceed to march on the bridge. And then... Spoilers, yeah. Well, I mean, this whole thing's been spoilers so far as a synopsis, Wesley.
We're a little late for the spoilers.
That's what synopsis means. So then enters a hooded figure with fully functioning robotic hand and green lightsaber. Who could this be? He comes in and just destroys the Dark Troopers with his lightsaber with the Force. It is a really cool scene that mirrors kind of the Darth Vader scene where he's coming through and just kicking tail, killing all the rebels.
One,
yeah, from Rogue One. It was awesome. So we get this really awesome scene where this hooded Jedi man comes in on his X-Wing and beats the crap out of all of the Dark Troopers. Shows up at the door. Little baby Grogu is all excited. He's perked up, and Mando's like, just let him in, you know. So they open the door, let him in. And who is there? It is Luke Skywalker. Yes, Luke Skywalker, the man himself. Yeah, we don't have sound effects yet here at Dork Wars. We're going to work on that. But there's Luke Skywalker for the win. Luke Skywalker comes in. It's Mark Hamill, de-aged down significantly. Very, very significantly. And I think we all have an opinion on how he looked. But I think he looked rather well. I think he looked pretty good for what they did.
For what it was.
For what it was, it was great.
Could have been worse.
Could have been worse. Luke Skywalker walks in, introduces himself, and Grogu takes to Luke pretty well right off. He's apparently going to train him, and we get this really touching moment where Mando takes off his helmet in front of God and everybody right there on the bridge. Said he would never do it, does it anyway. It was a very touching scene. He wanted the baby to see his face, and he wanted to see the baby with his own eyes, I guess. That's a callback to Return of the Jedi. And Grogu is sent off with Luke Skywalker to presumably start his real Jedi training. Roll credits, and then we have an awesome end-credit scene with Boba Fett and Fennec killing everyone inside of Jabba's old palace.
Yeah, dude.
What's old boy's name? Jabba's henchman?
You shouldn't ask me what
See,
it is.
now,
I can't remember what his henchman's
and I knew
name
what it
is.
was, and I
Dietrich would
meant to
know.
write it down in my notes. Dietrich would know. He would know, and I usually know, but I don't right now. And,
Regardless, he's now fat like Jabba. And,
Yeah. So I don't know how long it takes a Jabba-esque character to get as fat as Jabba was, but he's certainly made some headway.
He's made some headway in 5 years.
In 5 years, it's only been 5 years, and he's eaten a lot of whatever Jabba was eating.
Good spice, man.
Yeah, Fennec comes in there, kills everybody, releases the Twi'lek dancer
Twi'lek
girl,
dancer, yeah.
the signature Twi'lek dancer. She is saved,
She's free after all these years. Finally free.
finally free. If it
And
was
not even by Rancor.
Only
yeah,
to be
and if,
enslaved by someone else.
more than likely. However, I would think if this was the original trilogy era, I think Fennec probably would have shot her too. If I'm being quite honest. But you know, that's neither here nor there. But anyways, she is saved, and Boba Fett comes in and shoots Jabba's henchman, Mr. New Jabba, we can call him, right in the head, kicks him off the throne, and he is sitting in the Hutt seat. And that is the end of season 2 of The Mandalorian.
Wow.
What a great episode, right?
It was really great.
I'm ready to jump in, yeah.
So much to talk about, so much to go over. A lot of things, specifically about the Bo-Katan, Boba Fett scene to me. I went back, rewatched it, and there was a few things that really caught my attention that I think is very important for where the story is going to go, especially with the Book of Fett, which was announced with that end credit scene, and just where that's going to go next year. And because that's going to pick up before Mando Season 3 starts.
Right.
So I'm not sure how Disney's going to do it, but it looks like the Book of Fett's going to start in December, and then I'm guessing that it's going to end, and that's when Mando Season 3 will pick up, is my guess of what they're going to do. I'm thinking they're going to try and do a rolling, constant stream of Star Wars content coming out, so like people like us, the people who want to start podcasts, have something to talk about all year.
Yes, that would be quite awesome. You know, just this whole Mando for 8 weeks out of the year is going to get old. We just want new stuff.
Never
the
gets
fans.
old.
Never gets old. We always want stuff. There'll always be stuff. But yeah, that would be awesome if they just keep rolling out and rolling out. And with all the new stuff coming out, it seems like that's going to happen for us. But let's first get into some of our questions. Let's go back and my big thing with the end, the spoiler, the big thing, the big Luke Skywalker comes in and saves the day. I really thought they were going to go a different direction. I'm not going to lie.
Where did you think they would go?
So, I'm glad you asked.
Thanks for asking.
Thank you for asking. Now there are 2 other Jedi that I thought could have been the Jedi to train Grogu. And those Jedi would have been Ezra Bridger or probably Cal Kestis.
You see, I would also think that since it's wide open, 5 years after Return of the Jedi, the Empire is basically fallen. Everybody's like, oh, I mean, we even see it during the season. You say, the Empire's back, type of deal whenever they see the Imperial Star Destroyers coming into the system.
They're ramping up.
I mean, you would think that some of the Jedi that were in hiding, because as we've seen through what Disney's trying to really show us, is there's a lot of Jedi who survived the Purge that were just hiding out. I was thinking that maybe they could go and bring in a fresh character that they're going to add just for the Mandalorian, rather than doing with the Luke thing. But there's something I've seen and heard some things that may make sense why they did Luke and not Ezra Bridger, which I think ties into the Ahsoka series that we're not talking about currently. That might be a little later. But Cal, I think, is going to be something that they're going to introduce somewhere else, personally.
Okay.
I think that's going to be... I could definitely see him closer to Rangers of the New Republic, which is supposed to pick up right around the end of Return of the Jedi, like right after the Battle of Endor is supposed to pick up and start. I could definitely see him showing up there. But I was thinking they'd either go with an original character or a fan favorite EU character, expanded universe character, a Jedi during that time that they could have remade and kind of formatted into there, kind of like they did with Thrawn in the Rebel series.
Yeah, so we've seen a lot of that. The retooling of EU ideas and characters in this new Disney canon, which is a very good move on Disney's part, because Thrawn is a fan favorite. People knew Thrawn before Thrawn came out on Rebels, of course, and his new book series and all that. Thrawn is an expanded universe character from way back. I can't even remember when those books were written.
Early 90s.
Probably early 90s. Yeah.
Early 90s.
Yeah. Early to mid 90s is the Thrawn trilogy. And that's where he was introduced. And he was a hit with the dorks of the 90s.
He definitely was. I mean,
he
was the big villain the Empire needed, that Star Wars needed after Darth Vader, after the Emperor. Who's the other big villain that they could bring in? I mean, if you think back to the Rebel series, not trying to do any spoilers for those that haven't seen it, i.e. people in this podcast.
It's me.
Yeah, it's Wesley. He's a little behind on that.
But, I mean, if you think about it, they had the Inquisitor in Season 1. They had Darth Vader as the big bad in Season 2. Who do you follow up Darth Vader with for a Rebel season? Because they're not going to kill Darth Vader.
Right.
So there's no point in them going with it.
Spoiler alert, everyone. Darth Vader's in the original trilogy 4, 5, and 6. He's also Luke's father. And I'm hoping no one is distraught by this information.
But who do you follow up with? And then your mind, or Dave Filoni's mind anyway, went to, well, why not use Grand Admiral Thrawn?
Right.
He's somebody who wasn't in the original trilogy. He's a fan favorite character that people see as the big threat after Darth Vader and the Emperor died. Why not introduce him here and see where his character goes? And really, I know this is kind of off topic, but it's circling back. Rebels I see as the big kicking off point for the whole Mandoverse, because it set up Thrawn, set up Ahsoka, it set up a lot of Bo-Katan stuff that I'm not going to talk about because Wesley hasn't seen that yet. It set up a whole bunch of Mandalorian
Wesley's got
stuff
a lot to
that
do
really,
before the next episode.
The conquest of Mandalore again. And so that's really where I think Dave Filoni wanted to head with Disney. Of course, Rebels was made after the Disney had acquired Star Wars, so I think he had an idea of what he wanted to do, and Disney Plus became available, and it became available to do it because they wanted original content. And so I think really I see Rebels as the really true kicking off point of where we're going in the future. It may not all be animated, but a lot of the stuff comes from the Rebels story.
Right, and I think that we're going to see a lot of this. We're going to see a lot of these characters from maybe the old EU. We're going to see these characters from Rebels and Clone Wars because they were massively popular with fans. I did not get into those shows when they first came out. I'm not gonna lie to you. I really, I was a little bit older. I was like, man, it's a cartoon, whatever. And then I've gone back and watched them.
Yeah.
In the last 10 years, I've seen all of them, and it's like, oh my gosh, there's such great storytelling here. There's such great.
There's
I
a
think
lot
we
of
appreciate.
Expansiveness.
Yeah, Andrew, and I appreciate the movies more, the shows more as an adult than I think I would as a kid,
Right.
because I just saw more detail, catching a lot more details. And yeah, I'm holding the group back a little bit by not seeing Rebels. I just finished Clone Wars a couple weeks ago, and that was so good. So if you have not watched that,
The Siege of Mandalore.
yeah,
Oh,
Yeah,
that
yeah,
final
right.
season they put out on Disney Plus earlier this
Luckily,
year.
Rebels isn't too long.
The
But
Super Cut with Revenge of the Sith with that is amazing. If you haven't watched it,
Oh
highly
yeah,
recommend.
the end of Clone Wars runs right into Revenge of the Sith, and those events are happening simultaneously, and it's pretty awesome. But yeah, I just thought they were going to go a different direction than Luke Skywalker. You know, Luke Skywalker, big awesome Star Wars character, of course, for the masses. It's like Luke Skywalker, of course, who else could there be? But for us dorks, there was those two other guys that I thought could be the answer to Grogu's call. But like you said, I think Ezra Bridger, we don't know what's going on with Ezra.
Yeah.
Sorry.
I'm about to say,
Wesley,
I think the Ahsoka series is really going to explore that.
Yeah.
And I think we'll save the episode to talk about that series until after Wesley has finished Rebels.
Yeah,
because
Wesley-
that's
I'll get on that.
Yeah.
something that's it's
I'm also-
it's something.
I'm fairly sure that they chose Luke Skywalker for the purpose of, a lot of people expected it, but also because there's a lot more money in it for them. In the future,
course.
they're going to be able to put out a lot of content on Luke and how he began to disagree with the Jedi ways. And I think that's going to be really interesting. I think that'll be it's a really nice story that, I mean, a lot of people didn't like where it went to in the sequels, but we kind of have to figure it out because,
Yeah.
what else are we going to do?
I kind of like the mystery behind Luke Skywalker, because it just keeps you wondering, like, what was he doing all those years in between, Return of the Jedi and Rey's time, and then it leaves question like, where is Baby Yoda now? Like, when the new trilogy came out, so what happens there? But I'm glad they brought. Oh, go ahead.
Sorry, and also, are they going to actually try to tie into the sequels, or do Dave and Jon Favreau, do they plan to kind of stay away from it?
That's certainly something that we have to consider is, do they want to stay away from it? A lot of people are seeing, I've watched a bunch of stuff, listened to a bunch of stuff, read up on things, being the dork I am, I want to stay informed.
Don't we?
But, a lot of people are saying that they have a new appreciation for the sequel trilogy because of what Dave and Jon Favreau are really doing. And I can honestly see it and see how it's going to tie in. We know from Rise of Skywalker that we heard Ahsoka's voice when Rey was in there with everyone else fighting.
right.
So at some point, Ahsoka is presumably dead because it was only dead Jedi that she heard, as far as we know. I mean, they could throw us a curveball. She may be meditating somewhere on a mountain somewhere because her species is supposed to be able to live for hundreds of years.
Probably Mount Yoda.
Probably Mount Yoda. I like that idea.
How
Circling back,
how do you know that about her species? Where do you learn that?
just looked it up. Star
Okay.
Wars knowledge. I mean, you look at the different things.
Gotcha.
Yeah, Wesley, just Star Wars knowledge.
I mean, you just gotta have the Star Wars. Don't you have the encyclopedia of all Star Wars races?
She's
On my coffee table.
Twi'lek, right?
No, she's not.
nope.
Oh,
That is
she's
a
not?
common misconception.
I am not sure of the official name off the top of my
Oh!
head, but she's the same race as Jedi Master Shanti from the original trilogy and also Clone Wars.
Shakti.
So, you
Togruta.
remember? Yeah,
That's it.
Yeah,
Togruta.
they lived for a long time, hundreds of years. But going back to what I was going to say about the whole Luke thing, there was one more thing. Some of the things I've heard and have seen and read up on and heard rumors about is Disney is in the very early stages of developing a Luke Skywalker series taking place at the time of Mandalorian, in which he's starting up his Jedi Academy, and that's where I think we'll see Grogu next, is during that, if they do it through. And don't worry, they're not doing a CGI aged down Mark Hamill, they're recasting for that role. And Mark Hamill has already, there's rumors that somebody, I can't remember his name off the top of my head, I'm not, keeping up with it super important because he
We
hasn't
didn't
got the
plan
role
to
yet.
say this during the podcast, or else we would have made a note.
Yes.
Yeah.
But Mark Hamill says, I would love if he would played Luke. Like, he looks like he should be Luke.
We'll put it in the comment descriptions.
Just to expand on what you were saying earlier, Blake, that it's very interesting how they made his face look younger, but also it looks really different. It doesn't actually look like Luke. Like, I thought it was an actor playing Luke. And I think,
Yeah.
could that be on purpose? Did they make it look like the
That
actor
could-
that they might be going towards?
that could definitely be something that I could see them doing. Is like, hey, everybody's like, this is Luke Skywalker. You know, I mean, he does look a little bit older than Return of the Jedi. Of course, not super old. It's just supposed to be about a few years from there. But he does look like the person that I've heard rumored could be playing Luke in this new series if it moves forward. Like I said, it's very early, but I think it's something that's a real possibility. Otherwise, why would they remove a fan favorite character like Grogu from the Mando?
Correct. Yeah, so maybe they're trying to merge Luke's look into this new character. That could be a possible solution. Maybe it was just the CGI process, you know. They haven't got all the kinks worked out. Who knows? I think it looked rather well for what it was. Yeah. I think it looked like Sky. Of course, we all knew who it was when he took his hood off, so it worked. But yeah, I think what we're going to see is all of this stuff kind of culminate and become this expansive universe. That's kind of what I have written down as some of our future stuff, like what is happening with the future. But one more question before we get to the future Star Wars, and I want to make this very clear. Does anyone have any reason why they would have kept all the Dark Troopers in an airlock?
There were two scenes that made me mad in that episode. That one scene when you see all the Dark Troopers and they all get released out into the space, out into the chute, and it was like, wow, that was anticlimactic. Like, you got, hopefully they'll be brought back in, and of course, you know, they did come back later.
The return was good. Return was good.
The return was good. And the second scene I did not like was when Luke Skywalker showed up. When he showed up, that was cool. But then when he got into the room with, you know, all the good people, they had the guns pointed at him, and they didn't recognize him. They didn't know who he was. I'm like, how do you not know who Luke Skywalker is? He blew up a Death Star. Like, he's a war hero.
I mean, yeah, they may have heard the stories, but they've probably never seen him. I mean, the only person who might have is the Shock Trooper. Like, she's the only possibility of seeing.
Well, you got to think, between the prequel series and the original trilogy, in those 19 years, people thought Jedi were a myth. Like, so, you know,
an old religion, in the words of Han Solo.
Pretty much so. I mean, and they might not even have believed in Luke Skywalker, to be honest.
Baby Yoda knew what's up, though. He had his hand on the glass like, Daddy's here.
Luke Skywalker, Daddy.
Well, one last thing on that before we go to the future of Star Wars. Specifically that scene, we see R2 come in, and that's when Grogu kind of like opens up. So it kind of makes you think, you should probably seen R2 around in the Jedi Temple.
Possibly.
That's something that came to my mind. I was thinking about rewatching that scene. I said, he's probably seen, you know, R2-D2 with Anakin Skywalker back in the Jedi Temple. And that's something that, like, crossed my mind. I'm like, well, maybe that's like, well, I should trust him. That droid is good.
Yeah, but trust R2? He was with Anakin, and Anakin literally killed all the other younglings.
He may have. But at the time when Grogu probably saw him with Anakin,
but maybe Grogu doesn't even know. Maybe Grogu doesn't even know Anakin was such a bad guy.
I mean, yes. I mean, to be fair, he didn't kill Grogu.
I don't think he didn't kill Grogu just because he didn't kill Grogu. It's like, oh man, Baby Yoda, you're so cute. I'm not going to slaughter you with the Youngling Slayer 9000. No, I think it was more of a. I think someone smuggled Grogu out. That's what I think. Anyways,
well, yeah.
So, moving on. The future of Star Wars. What does this season finale really put on the future of Star Wars? Honestly, the Grogu move. I'm a little puzzled. Is Grogu going to show up in this new Luke Skywalker series that is rumored? Is something going to happen where he comes back and joins Mando in season 3? I don't know. Grogu is such a marketable character for Disney. Dude, he is the cash cow. My kids have Grogu stuff, okay? I know. Grogu is such a marketable character. So he's not going to stay out of the shows for long, the movies, whatever. He's going to pop up elsewhere because the longer you keep him relevant, the more you can sell the toys. And that's just how this business works. And sometimes that kind of bugs us, the really deep, hardcore fans of Star Wars, like, you know, you're going to make moves that just revolve around money. Well, it's a business, and we have to realize that. So I don't think Grogu's out of the picture for very, very long. So I think Grogu's longevity has been set. Like, Grogu, we're going to see Grogu for a long, long time, and I don't think he's going to be out of the game for too long. What do you think, Wesley?
Yeah. So how many shows did Disney announce coming soon? Like, was it like 4?
I believe it's actually like 11 or 12.
Oh, okay.
Well, no. Well, we're not talking about movies either, right?
Well, the only movie they really announced was Rogue Squadron.
Yeah, that's a movie. True. I think officially it's like 4 or 5 with names.
So I think we're going to kind of head into like that Marvel universe type of thing where like all these shows going to have their own storyline, but they're all going to be tied together, right? And maybe they'll be tied together trying to take out Thrawn or you know, I don't know what direction it's going to go, but yeah.
Yeah, I think the Mandoverse is on. I mean, you've got the Ahsoka series coming out, the Book of Boba Fett coming out, Rangers of the New Republic. Those are just a couple of the ones that I can think of that's going to take place around this time that are all connected with characters who are connected with The Mandalorian. The Mandalorian, I think, was just kind of a test of where are the Star Wars fans at. And we're here for it. We're here for all of it. Dave Filoni, Jon Favreau, thank you guys. We're here for every bit of it. So keep pushing out the content. Andrew, all the way from the remote lands of Raleigh, NC. What are your opinions on the future of the Star Wars universe in relation to the season 2 finale of The Mandalorian?
Honestly, man, I'm really, really excited. I absolutely love what they've done with The Mandalorian. I love that they took Rogue Squadron's seriousness. No, I'm sorry, not Rogue Squadron. Rogue One's seriousness and like amazing storytelling and added all these more human characteristics, like comedy with Bill Burr, the seriousness and more action with man, I can't remember her name all of a sudden, but the actress who used to be a wrestler. Like they've just added so many. Moff Gideon, the guy who they got to play Moff Gideon is like a villain and so like a different type of villain in so many other shows. I think it's going to bring so many new actors and actresses to the series. I think it's going to bring a lot of new directors. Eventually, you know, Jon Favreau and Dave Filoni are going to have to find somebody else to help them start writing a lot of these series and movies. And I'm really excited to see who they're going to bring in because they're right now, two of the most talented people in the business. And I'm personally just excited to see all of that come to fruition now with these new Star Wars. Like, I'm so excited.
Yeah, man, it's exciting to be a Star Wars fan again, man. I'm all here for it. Grant, what are your thoughts on the future of Star Wars in relation to season 2's finale of The Mandalorian?
I think it really sets up a lot. You know, Grogu, definitely a big marketing thing like we were talking about earlier. I think the Luke Skywalker show will happen just because it's Luke Skywalker and you can make money on him. Like you said, it's business. And I think that could eventually tie in. We could see, you know, a young Ben Solo. We could see other young Jedi that are raising up. We can get an idea of what happens to him. There's a 40-year gap, so there could be multiple shows about the Jedi, the Jedi he tries to train. Some of them might have left the Order, may not have been at the temple while all this was going on. So when Ben Solo killed them all and left. But, you know, there's just a few things there. I'm really excited about it. I would mostly think that they're going to go more of a CW Arrowverse route. Well, I don't know what it's called now. It just may be the CW verse.
Who knows?
I'm not sure.
Yeah. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. That happened like a year and a half, 2 years ago now, even though I just saw it. The Arrow's dead in the Arrowverse, everyone. I'm sorry.
Yeah. But I would think if you look at their crossover things, it's like you can watch them separately and not have a problem with watching a crossover. This is what they're doing. And that's what I think they're going to go for. You know, the Mandalorian's like space western.
Right.
That's what it's going for. I think Rangers of the New Republic will be a little more structured, more political drama type deal, with some action in it, of course, as they're trying to set up the New Republic. You know, that's a big thing that may be going on and following law and stuff. And then there may be I mean, we can have. I think it's not just going to be different shows. I think it's going to be different genres and different types of shows that's trying to appeal to as many different audiences as they can get.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah, it's a great point. You know, you can already see that happening in each episode of The Mandalorian.
Right.
It kind of amazed me personally how diverse the director's cast was. I mean, a lot of these directors were brand new, and I mean, you can kind of tell their different styles between action, comedy, and drama, and I really think if that's what they're going to do, it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of those directors that were directing episodes on season 2 are now, you know, being kind of like people that are heading up some of these new shows that they announced. So I'm excited to see. I liked all the episodes this season. Some of the other ones were a little lacking on the story element, but that's no farther on, they were just building to something, and we have to be patient as fans and realize there's going to be some episodes where it doesn't seem like much happened, but it pays off later, like the first episode, you know? It was a fantastic episode. It was a good start to the season, I really think. And we see Mando get Boba Fett's armor. And then nothing really happened with that for a couple episodes, and then Boba Fett showed up. So, I mean, we got to be patient and let them tell their story. But overall, I loved every episode, and I think it's going to be fantastic for us going forward. I mean, I'm excited.
And they're going to do that. They're gonna bring these episodes when they don't have much of a story-driven element as far as the whole main story. They are padded with tons of action, and it's just awesome to see. Great cinematography. Cinematography. Sorry, I have to announce my words better. Cinematography. Great choreography. Great everything. It's awesome to watch, even if it's not for the overall story. You know, it's a good Mando story for the Mando himself. I think they're gonna bring all this stuff. I think that they're gonna try to make the sequel trilogy look better to the fans. You know, I've talked to guys and they're like, well, maybe they're introducing time travel and they're going to just retcon the whole sequel trilogy. Maybe, but I mean, that is a bold move.
Yeah, that's a bold move. It depends on how time travel is supposed to work in that. I mean, if you think about how Marvel picked it up for Avengers Endgame, also spoilers. The movie's been out for a while, so I don't think it's really spoilers at this point, but still.
No.
I mean, yeah, they can go back and change something in the past. It didn't affect where they were, though.
Yeah, I don't think they're gonna erase the sequel trilogy, but I hope they make it better in the eyes of the fans, like the Luke Skywalker stuff. You know, I don't like how Luke Skywalker's character was in The Last Jedi. I don't think many people did.
Old and fat.
But I want to see how he got there, because maybe that'll make me think better of him in The Last Jedi.
Yeah.
So hopefully that kind of thing happens. This has been a great show so far, I think. Successful first episode. But we're running out of time here, and we are going to see you hopefully. I don't know if we're going to do this every Thursday or every other Thursday on a release of an episode. We're still working out recording schedules, kind of our remote recording stuff. It's exciting, though. We're having a lot of fun doing it, and it's going to be awesome. So stick around. We have so much more Mandalorian talk, original trilogy talk, sequel trilogy talk, prequel trilogy, Star Wars talk is here, guys, and we're excited. We hope you stick with us. Let Dork Wars, the podcast, be your guide for Star Wars. And with that, thank you, and may the Force be with you.
Thank you for supporting Dork Wars, the podcast. You can check us out on Facebook.com/Dork Wars, the podcast. And if you would like to join in on the discussion or maybe suggest topics for us to discuss, please do so by joining our Discord community or sending us an email at dorkwarspodcast@gmail.com. This has been a Frozart production.